This is Roll Credits.
All right, and thank you, Buckley. And once again, this is Roll Credits. Welcome, everyone, to another wonderful episode. And how are you today, Cap?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you doing, Connquest?
I'm absolutely fabulous, my friend. And on the note of cheers, what are you drinking today?
I am drinking my own special concoction because I really don't have anything in the house. So I mixed Snapple Apple with Blue Curaçao, and it tastes like a Granny Smith apple, actually. I'm really quite pleasantly surprised at how well this turned out.
Granny Smith apple or like the apple or like the liqueur?
Like an actual, it tastes like an apple. More so than Snapple Apple does it. There's like the Curaçao adds like a little bit of like a tartness that turns it into like a Granny Smith apple.
I can see that. I know it's made from some kind of, you said blue, right?
Yes, but I'm a cheap bastard, so it's Mr. Boston Blue Curaçao, so it tastes like syrup more than anything.
You didn't even get like the Kuiper stuff? You got like the cheap stuff?
It's all I could find, to be honest.
I mean, Blue Curaçao is just Curaçao but dyed blue. You know that, right?
I do now.
Yeah. Well, there's nothing special about it. It's still just Lahara citrus, just
Look,
artificially dyed blue to give it more of a Caribbean look. It was actually made specifically for that purpose, for touristy drinks in Caribbean locations.
let me let you know a little secret here. Even though I'm an old ass man, I still feel weird going to liquor stores. So I just go in, grab like the first thing that fits the description of what I'm looking for, and I just try to leave before anyone kicks me out. Because that's what I feel like is going to happen.
Here's the thing. I spend enough time in my local liquor store that they know me by name, and they make suggestions based on the products that are in. If anything new comes in that they think is going to fit my taste, they make suggestions to it. I've regularly been suggested various kinds of flavored whiskey and walked out with a new bottle of whiskey and enjoyed it because they know me that well because I spend enough time there. So to say the least, I do not have your problem. I am drinking a bourbon a la creme. It's bourbon whiskey, in this case, Jack Daniels, dark cream de cacao, and normally it would be served with vanilla extract or vanilla liqueur. But guess who didn't have vanilla liqueur and apparently broke their only bottle of vanilla extract?
I'm guessing you did.
Thank God for Mr. Clean. Not sponsored. But that being said, Dawn, if you want to send some money our way, I will happily plug Mr. Clean sponges. You don't even have to send money my way. You just send me a box of Mr. Clean, and I will shout it out in every episode of the podcast for the next year. Call me, buddies.
Mr. Clean owns Dawn now? Or Dawn owns Mr. Clean?
Dawn owns Mr. Clean, I believe so, yes.
Really? Isn't it like just Procter & Gamble?
I think it's Johnson & Johnson, actually. Maybe Procter & Gamble, though.
I mean, it's one of the two. There's no other fucking companies left.
Fucking right. Whichever one of you two owns both Dawn and Mr. Clean, if you want to shout out on a podcast with a whopping 6 subscribers, real-time count as of right now, very impressive, I know, hit me up. I'll shout you guys out for some free cleaning supplies.
Yeah. We are not above selling out.
Problem there. I'm not above selling out for some fucking... I'll sell out my grandma for a goddamn nickel. I'm done with you. You won't be able... No. When the Batman's done with you, Mr. Friendly here won't be able to sell his grandma for a nickel. Enough from the clown! God, I cannot do Michael J. White. I would happily do Michael J. White. But you know what I mean. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, eh?
Say no more. Say no more.
One of these days we're just going to hire a professional voice actor just to do all of our bits for us. But then they can do the horrible, horrible, horrible Joker impression and the horrible, horrible, horrible Michael J. White impression. And I can walk away without looking like an ass.
You see, we have to kill the Batman.
Kill the Batman.
Why don't we just hire people to do the podcast for us?
We have to contribute something.
Yeah, well...
Beyond our charming personalities and drop-dead gorgeous good looks, of course.
Oh, yeah, I mean, that goes without saying.
Oh, yeah. Oh, just the right amount of maple and burn. I'm quite enjoying this drink.
Mine's already gone. I, slammed that. I kind of want another one. It was,
Probably because it's sweet and sugary and has no actual alcohol content because you're a little bitch.
Hey, I normally drink bourbon. I decided to be a little bitch today.
Oh, I know. But today is the day that I'm drinking bourbon and you're drinking the fruity cocktail. So you bet your ass I'm going to give you shit for it. Aren't you glad I didn't decide to do beer and whiskey?
Yeah, you're so much more pleasant.
But when I do beer and whiskey?
Yes.
I've never made that combo before.
What, beer and whiskey?
I was actually going to do a 6-ounce beer and a shot of whiskey in it.
That sounds disgusting.
Oh, no, it's really good. It's one of those drinks that has a different name in every bar. At the bar I worked at a couple years back, we used to just call it the house special. Because it was something where I would, do a big song and dance about it, and I would be like, I'm going to make you, a secret little cocktail, right? And then you'd pretend to measure out the shot super carefully, and you'd pour it in a glass.
Uh-huh.
Then you'd walk over and you'd pretend to fiddle with the taps and fiddle with mixing with the beers. What you'd actually do is you just would mix, usually Budweiser and Coors or Budweiser and Keystone, just any two domestics.
Uh-huh.
And you'd always make them light. You wouldn't make them the actual full beers. Because the whole point is just to make something that your customer's going to be able to sip and it's not actually going to go down strong.
Huh.
But you'd make a big song and dance about it. And make it into a secret recipe, and you'd call it a house special, and you'd essentially charge them for a full glass of beer and a full shot, even though you're only doing half each.
Oh, interesting.
Not in order to rip them off, mind you, but it would just because it would be a house special. You'd have to ring it up that way, because that's what the price would actually go out to the liquor, or at least that's what the customer would know.
Right, implied value.
In actuality, what you're doing is you're just building value with the customer, and you're building a rapport with the customer, and then you're ultimately building yourself a bigger tip at the end of the night.
Right.
This is obviously something you would never do around a regular, but on a big tourist night, right. Oh yeah, any day of the fucking week I'd do that shit.
Yeah, just a tip. That's all that matters.
Well, that's the thing is I get that you're making the joke, but it actually would, without fail, every time I made that drink, I would get a $20 tip, no matter how big their tab was, or how small their tab was, rather.
Yeah, they feel like they're getting
minimum $20 tip. Yeah, they feel like they're getting something special. I would also, if I ever had a woman, I would make an amaretto sour instead of make the beer whiskey. The beer whiskey was for men. The amaretto sour was for women.
Interesting.
But except it's actually kind of worse because I wouldn't even modify it at all. It was literally just an amaretto sour. Complete with sugar on the rim. Just an amaretto sour. I wouldn't even fucking serve it in a different glass. It would just go in our whiskey glass. I shit you not. All the stories I could tell of bartending.
Yeah, well,
I could do all kinds of fucking shit like that. But that'd be off topic, and I'm not going to go off topic. Not that far off topic, not this early. Ask me while I'm another 2 drinks in. I'll tell you all kinds of secrets.
All right, noted.
I'll never want to go to a bar again.
It's cheaper to drink at home anyway.
Yeah, in this case, think about it this way. That house special I talked about.
Uh-huh.
At the bar I was working at, it was $5 for a domestic beer. From the $5 for a domestic beer from the keg, rather. Draft, and then it was $5 for a shot of whiskey. They were paying $10 for that drink.
Jesus Christ.
$10 for a shot of Jack or Jameson or something comparable, something Like not garbage whiskey, but not the good stuff either. We're not talking high quality.
And you're not putting a high quality whiskey in there. I didn't want to say a brand and then it turned out not to be high quality.
But the point, no, I'm not. The short of it is, no, I'm not doing anything high quality. I'm doing like a Jack Daniels or maybe a Crown Royal or like I said, like a Jameson if I'm going to try and get fancy with it and throw like an Irish whiskey in there. But even there, a Jameson bottle would cost retail between $30 and $50 depending on your area. It's not an expensive whiskey. I'm not throwing any like high end fine scotches in there. Nothing like that. I'm throwing in some cheap shit. It's just ubiquitous.
Not
and
gonna
it's
throw
going
a
to have a
30-year
good
scotch in there.
I wouldn't even throw a 5-year scotch in there. I'm throwing something that's ubiquitous that just has a decent flavor profile that people would recognize as whiskey. Like I said, Jack Daniels is usually my go-to just because I like Jack Daniels. And then, like I said, usually Budweiser would be my main beer, and I would throw in like a little bit of Coors or something like that to try and throw the taste off.
Right.
Not to make it taste bad per se, but just to get rid of that distinct flavor. Because, every single one of the American beers has a distinct flavor profile, and you can tell the difference between a Budweiser and a Coors, even if you hate them both.
Right. Kind of muddle the flavor up a little bit.
Yeah, pretty much. Just make it taste like, like you're getting that sour from the beer and you're getting that sweet from the whiskey. And it is a decent drink. It's just not a $10 drink.
Right.
Because an old-fashioned would cost me less than $10 if I rang it up. This was something that would, A, inflate their tab, and B, build rapport with them. All while doing it on their dime. Especially love to do it to any high rollers. If they ever said they're going to buy the bar around, I would give them that right after they bought the bar around. Usually for free.
Make them feel really special.
Yeah, I'll do it all the time. You do that a lot, actually, as a bartender. That's something that you'll do a lot. You'll make free, micro cocktails, shot cocktails, whatever you want to call them.
Mm-hmm.
I used to call them bitch cocktails, because if you're too much of a bitch to drink a full-size cocktail and you order something like that, I'm going to make fun of you when I go back into the kitchen.
Nice.
Without fail. I would do it constantly. Because anyone who is ordering something like a Manhattan, but in a shot, is pathetic. And they're making me fucking break up my shaker to make them 2.5 ounces of liquid.
Oh, yeah, I can see how that would get annoying.
Oh, yeah. I don't mind making mixed drinks. I love making mixed drinks. Making a mixed drink at 1/4 of the proportion, so I'm having to fucking eyeball shot glasses and shit to make sure that I get the proportions ballpark right so it tastes right. Worst fucking experience ever. Especially when, at the bar I was working at, all of my supplies were my own. I wasn't about to bring in teaspoon glasses or anything. So I'm using, just my regular jigger. Oh boy, that word could have come out bad.
Yeah, careful there.
I'm using my regular jigger, which is just a 1.5. Nothing fancy. I'm having to fucking measure it out. It's just a whole fucking mess. And then, of course, other customers are getting pissed off because they're seeing me sit here for like 5 minutes, make this guy's drink, and it comes out as a shot. So those types of people pissed me off. And so usually what happened with those types of people is those were the types who would tip the lowest, and so those were the guys who I would try and, really blow smoke up their ass and make them feel special.
Right.
Because it was the only way I was going to get a livable tip out of them. But they were such prima donnas, too.
Yeah, not worth it. It's
unfortunate.
I drink my whiskey neat, because I'm boring.
Well, I agree, you are very boring. I have to sit here and listen to you twice a week.
Fair enough.
That being said, I am very special because I like to drink my whiskey with chocolate. That's the right amount of burn.
That's weird.
Ooh. What's weird?
Whiskey and chocolate?
Chocolate liqueur, yeah.
Oh, so like, alright.
A bourbon de creme.
Okay, yeah, then.
The drink I just said I'm drinking.
I didn't put 2 and 2 together until you just said it.
It's Jack Daniels, and it is dark cream to cacao.
All right. I think I have Ghirardelli liqueur downstairs somewhere. Probably no.
You probably do. I don't ever pay for the Ghirardelli. I pay for the Kuiper because Ghirardelli is kind of overpriced.
Yeah.
Because it's a premium chocolate brand. I find it's overvalued.
Yeah, you're paying for the name.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's a per person thing, but it's like how Ball of Midori went from $10 to $25 when it started getting popular in the early 2000s.
Right.
And now everybody has that lime green bottle somewhere. Swear to God, that shit glows in the dark.
Yeah, I don't think I don't think I can get that around here.
Dory?
Either that or I've just never paid that much attention.
It's a melon liqueur. I guarantee you it's on a shelf near you. Guaranteed.
Next
You
time I
recognize
go,
the bottle if you've seen it.
I'll have to look.
It is like the most early to mid 2000s thing ever. I buy De Kuiper for that too because almost all of my liqueurs are from De Kuiper because they make cheap stuff without it being like horrible stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The sense that the flavor is generally a little bit on the flavor is fine. The price is a little bit cheaper usually, and that's why I buy their stuff because it tastes decent. Whereas if you go any cheaper, it just is absolutely fucking awful.
Right. Like Mr.
Ooh.
Boston.
Oh, for example, yeah, depending on the kind.
Yeah, well, specifically Mr. Boston Blue Curaçao, which tastes like syrup.
Which is most liqueurs, but yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I
can't
bought.
necessarily blame the manufacturer because you are too much of a bitch to drink liquor.
I can drink whiskey till the cows come home, but it's just like.
Yeah, this being said by the man who's drinking blue cacao. Yeah, that's what I thought.
The one night I don't fucking drink whiskey.
Oh yeah, now you're never gonna hear the end of it, and you better not go back to that Metallica whiskey.
I probably got a good glass left, so maybe next
You
time.
brought up the. No, not next time. You wanted to start doing drinks every episode. You will come up with a new drink every episode, or I will come up with a new one for you and make you go get the ingredients for it.
Oh fuck.
You gotta start finding things you like to drink, buddy boy, or I'm just gonna pull out a random page for my book.
I guarantee you I will not make it as well as the book says to.
I'll guarantee you won't either, but you're still gonna make it.
Well,
I'm gonna make it something complicated too. I'm gonna make it include egg whites. I'm gonna make it include a couple of different methods of shaking and stirring. I'm gonna make sure you have to muddle shit.
I'm not muddling shit. I'm not. I'm not setting shit on fire. I'm not rubbing their fucking rim. I'm not doing any of that shit.
Setting shit on fire. Jesus Christ. It's nothing that bad.
I watched Bar Rescue. I know how this stuff works.
Yeah, no, you don't. Oh.
Speaking of watching,
I think that's how Gordon Ramsay feels. Yeah, speaking of watching.
Gordon Ramsay's my spirit animal.
Wouldn't Gordon Ramsay be my spirit animal yelling at you for being incompetent?
Well, you'd have to take 2 pieces of bread, put it on either side of my head, and call me an idiot sandwich.
You fucking donkey!
Yeah, that works. But yeah.
Said,
yeah, we watched something.
We both watched a very, very good comedy, and that is a super specific way of hinting at it.
Yeah, you really hit the nail on the head there. I mean, you can't possibly be describing anything but the one thing we covered.
Well, we covered a Fox show that got canceled way too soon, and was treated unfairly by the network, and has a cult following now.
You're really narrowing it down.
Was that not specific enough for you? Was saying a Fox show that got canceled not specific enough for you?
Well, also it got canceled partially because they kept dicking around its time slot. So, I mean, you can't get any more specific than that.
Oh, yeah. There's only, 18 goddamn shows that fit this description that came out just since the year 2000.
Oh man, I mean, I could just Futurama, Firefly,
I can think of a different show from this same goddamn showrunner.
Family Guy, Arrested Development.
No. Okay, so I have a little bit of a rant. You see, there's this really great comedic writer. His name is called Greg Garcia.
Uh-huh.
He did this show. He did My Name is Earl before he did this show. Also for Fox.
Oh, okay.
It was canceled on a goddamn cliffhanger in the 5th season.
Oh, God.
It is an incredible show. Amazing show. Absolutely phenomenal show. And then he did fucking Raising Hope, which was also canceled.
Maybe he's bad luck.
Greg Garcia, right?
Uh-huh.
Super talented, intelligent guy. He got his career started fucking doing Family Matters. He was a story editor on Family Matters.
Oh,
way
wow, that's
the
far
fuck back in like 1995.
TGIF?
Super cool dude. Yeah, part of the TGIF lineup. Then he got his fucking... He did his first major show, his first knockout fucking show with My Name is Earl, where he was the creator and executive producer. And then he did Raising Hope in 2010. Again, creator and executive producer. All fucking shows were made by Fox, and they got canceled back to goddamn back. My Name is Earl went from 09 to 05 to 09, and fucking Raising Hope went from 2010 to 2014. And it got the fucking axe at the end of it. Again, also kind of on a cliffhanger. They didn't ever fucking give either show a proper finale. My Name is Earl's finale comes in cameo bits from people turning off and on the goddamn TVs in fucking Raising Hope and like vaguely connecting the two. So like if you understand what the show is, then you can almost have closure. You don't actually have closure. Raising Hope never got it because his next show was called The Millers, and it got 2 seasons on CBS before it was canceled. It starred Will Arnett, and the guest book came out also on CBS and was a fucking anthology series, which also got canceled after the 2nd season.
Did you ever stop and think maybe it's this writer guy that's the problem?
No, because all of his shows are good.
My
Name is Earl is a cult classic. Raising
they?
Hope is a cult classic. Millers is a cult classic. The guest book is a cult classic. They're all good shows. Don't get great ratings. That could be for a whole number of reasons.
Well,
Big part of which being the fact that they're not fucking designed for the lowest common denominator.
well, plus the time slots aren't really doing any favors.
That's the weird thing. With CBS, it didn't get fucked around too much. Fox did all the goddamn time.
Oh yeah, that's what Fox loves to do. If you're not The Simpsons, Fox doesn't give two fucking shits about you.
Like, be more accurate statement would be if you're not The Simpsons or something made by Seth MacFarlane.
Fair enough. He's kind of
Because for some reason he is their golden boy. I just don't get it.
That's actually the thing I noticed because first it was Matt
He's an
Groening.
untalented man.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm not denying that. But Matt Groening, he got his spin-off. Like he was the first one to get a spin-off on Fox with Futurama, and then Seth MacFarlane got what was it? 3 spin-offs? American Dad.
This point is just an animated shows or overall.
I mean, overall, he got the Orville too, which actually was a better Star Trek than Star Trek Discovery. But
I wouldn't say that. It's a good show. I would say it's more a pastiche of the Next Generation than it is true and proper Star Trek show.
Well, I mean, it definitely started off as like a pastiche of Star Trek and just like a deconstruction of all the Star Trek tropes. But I think by virtue of that,
every episode, I don't dislike it. It's just not. I wouldn't consider it to be more Star Trek-y than Discovery. Discovery at least feels like Star Trek. The Orville feels like Star Trek with comedy.
fair enough.
Comedy feels like between mind you, but comedy nonetheless. Which is not to say that it tries and fails to be comedic. It just feels more rooted in sci-fi, and I feel like that's because it's a parody, but it's not a parody with inlaid jokes within it so much as it is a funny concept that then has some jokes and is essentially just Seth MacFarlane making his own Star Trek show because he couldn't get cast in one for CBS.
Right. Although I think the Orville got bounced to like Hulu or NBC or Peacock or something. It's not on Fox anymore.
It would be Hulu if anything, because Fox is owned, or Hulu is owned by, well, Hulu is owned by Disney, 2/3 at least.
Right.
And that era of Fox is owned by Disney as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if it was made in like moved to FX or FXX and then came out on Hulu simulcast as it does on the network.
From
It's like
what
Archer and Always Sunny.
I think it's 4th season's in development hell, but what I remember last hearing about it is it was coming to streaming only.
Then it may well just be moving to Hulu. It's probably one of those things where it got lost in the Disney shuffle.
I think that's exactly what happened, actually, now that you mention it.
Yeah, Archer luckily didn't have that issue, but it was the first show to come out both on FXX and on Hulu simultaneously, which I think helped boost its numbers because that is part of why it got season 12, along with the fact that Disney is just desperate for Fox content and
Right. Bigger reach.
well, they took all the popular Fox stuff and they put it on Disney Plus. So anything that was too niche or too adult to go on there. The Simpsons obviously went on Disney Plus, which I think is fucking stupid. But whatever.
The most recent season, I think, is exclusively on Hulu. But
It's not
then,
exclusive. They're on both.
so, the last I checked, Disney Plus only goes up to season 30. But
It gets episodes in whole blocks, not just individual episodes. But that's a whole other thing. The
Yeah.
point being, they put The Simpsons on Disney Plus, obviously, because it's a bigger show, I guess would be a good way to put it.
right.
But then they won't do it for things like, say, Family Guy. So even though Simpsons, especially earlier season Simpsons, is absolutely not appropriate for Disney Plus, it gets thrown on Disney Plus. But then the mature content, quote unquote, like Archer, Always Sunny, Family Guy, American Dad, and all the rest are just slammed onto Hulu.
I mean, The Simpsons, especially the earlier episodes, did get away with a lot, but it was a lot more subtle and implied than just like outright, hey Lois, what
Maybe.
would happen if we had sex with Bill Clinton? It's Family Guy and American. They're more just upfront with the.
I suppose, but Archer's not. Archer is subtle. Archer is incredibly subtle. Archer is on like Arrested Development levels of subtle jokes and hidden jokes.
Fair enough.
Especially seasons 2 through 4. You can absolutely tell all of Adam Reed's shows are like that, even back when he was on Adult Swim. Jokes were not handed out to you. He's not a big fan of spoon feeding. And I kind of admire him for it. That's a whole other thing. That's a whole other rabbit hole we can go down. Let's not go down that rabbit hole and let's circle back around to Raising Hope. I absolutely adore this show. This is one of my favorite shows of all time.
So, I mean, it was a little like it kind of bounced around a little bit for me in the first ep. Like okay, it's a lower middle class family. The mom works.
Lower middle class, huh? What do you mean lower middle class?
I'm trying to be gentle here.
It's a pool. Trying to be what?
I'm trying to be gentle. It's a white trash family. There. How about that?
I was just gonna say poor, but yeah, white trash is another way to put it.
Yeah, and every town.
There's
USA,
nothing wrong with being they're broke.
Yeah, and like I liked the little like how all right, this is clearly the brother or the son and the cousin or the kid and the cousin's boss. Oh, he's being a dick to them. Oh, he quits. All right, and then he goes home and it turns out it's his fucking dad. Like that. That was like all right. That's funny.
Well, the whole show is like that. It's just very built upon each other. More importantly, I feel like they do a great job at introducing the characters without being too ham-fisted about it.
Right.
On top of the fact that it is one of the most realistic portrayals of broken scraping by that I've ever seen, especially in the early seasons.
Right. It kind of reminded me a little bit of Malcolm in the Middle in the sense that it was also a lower class family.
Yeah, but Malcolm in the Middle, they were doing fine. They
Yeah,
were
they
just,
were well off, just pretending to be lower class, poor.
they were. They had a show budget that made them look upper middle class, and then they were pretending to be lower middle class.
Right.
That is just not how lower middle class lives. Take it from someone who grew up a broke kid. That is not
Oh, yeah,
how
no,
lower
definitely
middle class
not.
lives.
Yeah, hell no.
Fucking in the middle is like fucking. I get what they're going for with that show, and I like that show for a lot of reasons. That is not one of them.
But,
Being said, Raising Hope does an absolutely amazing job of portraying it. Also, a good job of portraying a fuck up dad and someone who is just figuring shit out as they go along.
yeah, he clearly, like, I think they said that they had him when they were, like, 15, or they had him young.
They were 15. Yes, they were 15.
Yeah.
In fact, all throughout the series, they continually flash back, and the actor and actress that they use for the young version of the parents, they go way after season 2. But I find that to be fine. I personally find it more funny to see them in fucking wigs and shit. Me personally, if I'm being honest, it's like they'll do it like when they're in their 20s, but because it's fucking Martha Plimpton.
Who?
Like, I still know her as the kid from the Goonies.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
That's why you know her, by the way.
Right.
I don't know if I pointed that out to you. That's why you know her.
Speaking of, the dad in this was also John in Fear the Walking Dead.
Yeah, eventually, but Fear the Walking Dead came out 10 years after this.
Right. And then the grandmother in this, who was probably my favorite character in this episode. Like, I loved how they,
yeah, she is also...
That's Cloris Leachman, who, like, just passed this past month.
Oh, she did?
Yeah.
I hadn't even heard she died. That's horrible.
Yeah. But...
Did you know at one point she was the most nominated and awarded actress in Emmy history?
Really?
22 nominations, 8 wins. She tied with Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Really? That's a...
Weird combo?
Yeah.
I know, right? Because we're talking about one of the most prolific actresses of all time, and then Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
I mean, she's been in quite a bit, too. I mean, obviously Seinfeld, Veep, Arrested Development for a little bit.
And for every show that she's been in that was successful, she's done 5 flops.
Right.
She is the original reason for the Seinfeld curse.
But, I
really...
really...
You know something funny?
Uh-huh.
I'm sorry, this is a little bit off topic, but you remember Lucas Neff's character, Jimmy?
Which, was that the cousin?
The kid. Jimmy, the main character.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Did I ever tell you what his middle name is revealed to be in season 3?
No. What is it?
It's the name of 80s hair metal band. Take a guess.
Winger?
No, not Christian band. Let me narrow it down for you a little bit. This band soundtracked The Young Guns 1 and 2, and their main singer and frontman starred in U571.
The submarine movie?
This is where I blow your mind with my trivia. John Bon Jovi.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Jimmy's character's name is James Bon Jovi Chance.
Jesus Christ. Yes.
John Bon Jovi was in U571, the submarine movie.
Oh, God.
He's a good actor. You didn't fucking know he was in it.
Well, it's because I've never seen it, because it's a terrible movie.
A terrible movie? It's a fine movie.
It's a movie about a submarine. It's kind of fucking...
It's a war movie. It's cool.
The only movie about a submarine that made it work was The Hunt for Red October. That's because Sean Connery was in it, playing a fucking Russian with a Scottish
You've
accent.
never seen it.
Does it have Sean Connery playing a Russian with a Scottish accent?
Jesus Christ.
Then it's not good.
It's a fine movie. You know what? Doesn't fucking matter. Point being, his middle name is Bon Jovi. Because his parents were 15.
Of course.
In Virginia's middle name, I'll give you a wild guess for what a woman whose name is Virginia, his middle name, who
Slims.
smokes a lot. Yes.
Oh, Jesus
Slims.
Christ.
Shit, you know. I have to admit, the names are fucking funny.
Yeah, it's...
Fitting.
I'm getting
Genius
like
Slims Chance?
Arrested Development vibes, with George Michael and...
Yeah, pretty much. But what happened was, same kind of story happened with Virginia in that her mother... she never knew her father, and her mother obviously gave birth to her, and her mother was a teenager, and her mother abandoned her, and that's why she's with her grandma.
Oh, that's her grandma. Okay.
That's her grandma. Meemaw is her grandma, and that's why Meemaw is so old.
That makes sense. And
Meemaw is in her 90s in the show.
the whole thing where they just completely abuse her dementia, and then she's like lucid, and it's like a fucking Code Red situation. That was hilarious.
I don't know if I count it as abusing. Mama is just kind of... They're clearly in over their head with her.
They're taking advantage of the situation.
I don't think they're taking advantage of it. They show later in the show that they do legitimately care for Mama, and she's an important part of the family. It's just a collection of high school dropouts.
Yeah, fair enough.
Working dead-end jobs.
Teen mom before MTV was
You're a
thing.
medical professional. Of course, to you, it's going to look like elder abuse.
Oh, yeah, I mean...
You have a fucking degree in it.
I mean, I don't have a degree in elder abuse. I mean, I'm trained to look for it.
You dabble in the arts of it.
Yeah, I dabble in elder abuse. That's terrible. But a similar, I mean, it's taken to like a whole nother degree, but a similar thing kind of happened in the series Shameless.
Oh, God. I knew you were going to bring up Shameless.
Well, I mean, this is...
I don't dislike Shameless, but Shameless basically just ripped this off.
I think Shameless came out right around the same time.
Did it?
But then Shameless is also based off of a British series, because of course, what isn't?
Shameless came out in like 2011.
Right, the 2010, 2011, I think. And then...
The William H. Macy show?
Yes.
Showtime?
Yes.
Launched like January 2011. Maybe February.
But it's also based off of a British show that aired probably like 5 years before that.
I don't think it was 5 years. The British show is way different. American Shameless and the British Shameless are two very different things. Have you ever seen the British one?
I couldn't bring myself to watch the British one.
It's way, way different than the American one. In the same way that The Office is. You can clearly tell it's catered for a British audience, whereas the American Shameless is catered to an American audience.
Oh,
Problem is, Raising Hope did the same bit with similar characters decade previously. Not a decade, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I mean, I think it's different enough where I'd say I'd chalk it up to
I'm not saying that the creators of Shameless outright ripped off Raising Hope or anything. I'm just saying the claim that, like, I don't think that they deserve comparison because Raising Hope did the same thing first and better.
I mean, I'm not trying to compare them because I mean, Shameless is it's a premium network and it's just a lot more. I'm just saying they're cut from the same cloth, kind of. They're similar in
concept, yes, which we've just established. I still feel Raising Hope is a better show, especially given the fact that it has the restraints of being on network.
It definitely makes it a lot harder to.
It makes it a lot more. It means it has to do a lot more as a show. It has to be a lot more clever. It has to be a lot more creative. It has to work around things a lot more. It has to work with generally a much smaller budget. They can't be too blatantly risque about anything. it's a sitcom, so it doesn't have the automatic long-lastingness of, say, an animated series. It's very clearly working on much harder restrictions than Shameless, and it performs just as well as far as I'm concerned, if not better.
But that being said, I don't know if I'm a huge fan of the whole concept of this, which is seemingly guy impregnates murderer.
That's so funny, though. A serial killer who kills her boyfriends.
I mean, it's a hilarious concept.
A Black Widow isn't.
But I don't know, like, I don't know how I feel about the whole concept of my life sucks. My parents suck. I'm poor. I'm gonna raise this kid. That sounds like a great fucking idea.
Well, for one, it's a little bit more complicated than that. For another, it's a very common situation that many people find themselves in. The adoption system can be very broken and very expensive. For a third, what if I told you the serial killer comes into play later in the series?
I mean, we saw her die.
What if I told you she comes into play later in the series?
The only thing there's something else I was kind of wondering is we don't really explicitly know that the kid's his.
The kid's his. It's blatantly revealed throughout the show the kid's his.
Oh,
they don't need to do any DNA tests or anything, but the kid's his. Not everything needs a DNA test. It's not like she was out sleeping with tons of guys. The kid's his.
Alright.
Just trust me on that. Hope is Jimmy's daughter.
Alright, fair enough.
My thing is, you can obviously tell that Greg Garcia learned from the untimely death of My Name is Earl, and he knocked out a lot of his bigger plot points earlier in the series.
Right, yeah, you don't want to leave stuff on the writing table.
Jimmy and Sabrina were together by the middle of the second season. They were married by the third.
Oh, wow, that moved really quick. I forgot about it.
Granted, keep in mind, this would have taken place over the course of about 3 years in real time over broadcast episodes.
Right.
But in hindsight, if you binge the series or watch it season by season, it does feel not rushed, but it does feel quick. But again, it makes sense logically knowing what happened to him. B, the fact that, like I said, you think about it, it happened over the course of 2 to 3 years. And C, the fact that, each season's almost 20 episodes. Like, that's 6 months in television broadcasting time alone. Usually longer if there's a holiday in between. So, I don't know. It's a combination of several factors. It's just something that I feel is worth noting. Because I find it fascinating because you don't usually see that. I like it a hell of a lot more than Friends with their will they or won't they bullshit that stretches into the final goddamn episode.
Yeah, I hate that shit too, but I mean, sometimes...
That only had a actual true and proper ending because the main show writer's rabbi told him to end it. Have you ever heard that story?
I have not.
The main showrunner of Friends was a fan of the series, and he had several members of his congregation also tell him that they were fans of the series. Every single one of them wanted Ross and Rachel to end up together because stupid romantic bullshit. So, in order to remedy that, he went up to the show's creator, and he outright told him that he had to have them come together. And that it was something that people would really need and really want. And so explicitly that and exclusively that is why Rachel doesn't get on the plane. The show is supposed to end with her flying off.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Can you imagine how awful of an ending that would be?
Yeah.
She doesn't come back. They don't hug. They all don't walk out of the apartment together. None of it.
What a fucking bummer.
Fucking right?
But, I mean...
I can't even fucking imagine.
There's some shows where the romantic tension also kind of, like The Office. I mean, arguably it kind of started to fall on its face a little bit after Jim and Pam got married and had kids, and...
The show kept fucking going on.
Yeah.
I'll give Friends this. For all the things that did wrong, at least it had the common sense to end shit when they fucking adopt a kid. No?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think that Ross and Rachel's kid should have been going on that long. That's a whole other thing. Oh, and the fact that Ben just kind of disappears halfway through the series.
Hmm.
Fun fact about Ben, though. Guess who plays him?
Who?
Dylan and Cole Sprouse.
Really?
Yes.
God, those
Zach
kids
and
just pop
Cody
up everywhere.
Zach and Cody played Ross's kid.
See, I don't actually know them as Zach and Cody.
I know them as Zach and Cody, but I grew up on Disney Channel when that show was fucking on air.
I know them as...
I grew up watching it at friends' houses because I didn't have Disney Channel.
Right, that's fucking rich kids. But no, I knew them as Frankenstein from Big Daddy.
Yeah, same thing.
Damn you,
Regardless.
Scuba Steve!
Anyways, yeah, they played Ross's kid in the show.
Huh.
The kid that, like I said, kind of just disappears around season 5 or season 6 and then really doesn't show up ever again.
Stop being convenient for the plot.
Welcome to the world of Friends.
Yeah, right.
At least that never happens in Raising Hope. But oh gosh, it's such a heartwarming show. You have to see the rest of the series, really.
I'm not against it.
So heartwarming. It's heartwarming without being fucking Family Matters or without being fucking Full House.
Right.
Heartwarming while still being funny and raunchy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not against. But another thing I noticed, like, I had a hard time, like, placing what time period this took place during.
Mid to late 2000s.
Well, because, see, when all the shots at the house, there was, like, just, like, a lot of old shit that looked like it belonged in the 70s. But
yeah, because it's just old shit that's been rotting around the house.
Right. I actually thought that was a really nice detail they put in there. It's because they can't afford to buy anything new, so they're just stuck using all the old shit that was in this old lady's house. That they're
just keep continuing watching it. It's pretty much all just shit that Virginia grew up with that Mama bought back when she was able to work. You know, just over the fucking years. You just need to. This is why I feel like you should probably watch the rest of the series because it, honest to God, just does keep building on this type of thing. And it really does show them, you know, just being broke. That's why they still use a VHS player. And that's why they still have an old school tube TV. And that's why when you go around town and you, like, in later series, when you spend more time in the fucking grocery store and you spend more time at other people's houses. And there was an episode where, oh God, I don't know if I should spoil this for you, but can I spoil this for you?
yeah, I'm not going to remember.
Oh, whatever. Huh? You're not going to watch
remember. I'm going to watch it, but I won't remember.
Okay. Spoiler warning for anyone in the audience who cares about a show that ended 7 years ago. If you're really too lazy, just go watch it yourself. Now is your warning. I am giving you 3, 2, 1. Cap will pop up the time when I'm done spoiling things. 3, 2, 1. Okay, you had your fucking chance. Bert's parents are rich. Fabulously, horribly wealthy.
Oh.
He is too proud to ask them for money. Bert's brother is a goddamn mattress salesman who obviously works for a living, but is not fucking, you know, dirt poor.
Huh.
His cousin is Bert's brother's kid, the mattress salesman. And they have a whole subplot episode thing together. A couple episodes, actually. That's a whole other issue. The main one that I feel is worth pointing out, not the main one rather, but Bert's parents rather, is Bert's parents figure out, essentially they think they've gone broke because the episode, you know, came out in 2011, 2012, stock market crashed a couple years prior. It was a pretty common situation. Bert's parents thought they had gone broke, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what happened was they fucking they realized that they still had all their credit cards and they used it to buy, you know, a 4K TV, and they were supposed to be sleeping on the couch, and they bought this massive mattress that they put in the living room. They just absolutely live a decadent lifestyle off these credit cards and rack it all up. and then they're out of money again. And then so Bert and Virginia and Jimmy and Sabrina have to teach them how to live poor. And it's actually like a very sobering moment and everything. And the parents can't do it eventually, and they have to go live with Bert's brother. And it's that touching, heartwarming lesson at the end in that, they're poor, but they're still capable of being happy.
Uh-huh.
And I find it absolutely fascinating. I find it a very great episode. I find several episodes to be very great, and I really hope that you do watch it, and I hope that everyone in the audience watches it. Seriously, go watch this show. It's on Hulu. It's 4 seasons. You can knock it out in a month. Trust me, if I can do it on a 12-hour work or a 12-hour workday, you can do it in your normal ass lives. Watch it. It's a good show. Anyways, spoilers over.
If anything, they kind of made me want to watch it more.
You really should. There's parts where it's clear that Jimmy's past and Sabrina's past are intertwined. It's all small town stuff,
Right. Anytime USA.
At various points.
But,
well, I would say it's very much worth watching. Are we good for ratings? Do you have any other thoughts on it?
No, I mean, that's about it.
Oh yeah, one final thought. I love the theme song.
Oh yeah, actually, the ending theme song especially, which was just like a cover of I don't know the actual song name, but that was the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones, wasn't it?
I actually am not sure.
Or no, Me First and the Gimme Gimmes. That's what it was. I mean, I'm not entirely in love with the premise. I always feel like adding a child to things is kind of like a cheap narrative or cheap literary device. But I mean, that being said, I'm kind of curious how it goes, especially given that massive spoiler by Connquest. So I'm probably gonna give it a shot and watch the whole thing, just because I already feel invested. And the characters are likable too. I mean, I didn't particularly dislike any of them. The grandmother was definitely my favorite, especially, like I said, that moment of lucidity. She's like, "Wait a minute, what are you doing living here?" That was pretty funny. And for all that, that's why I give it 7 Princess Beyoncés out of 10.
Oh, I give it a 9 hopes out of 10.
Well,
actually, I'm gonna bump it to 9.5 because it's got Me First and Gimme Gimmes in it.
Right, yeah, the ending song. I did enjoy that ending song.
I told you that you'd love Me First and Gimme Gimmes. Hint, hint, folks. Future episode. Hint, hint. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Well, I mean, maybe if I continue to watch the whole series, I can raise that hope to a 9 or 10.
I do think that you will, and I'll admit I am biased because this is a show that I know I know by heart, front to back. I can tell you when every major story beat happens, right down to the episode. I am a little biased. This is one of like 3 sitcoms I've ever been able to sit down and watch front to back and enjoy.
Fair enough.
Because I have never been a sitcom type of man. I can count the number of sitcoms on one hand that I legitimately find entertaining. But this is absolutely one of them, and this has been something I've wanted to do an episode on for months now.
I mean, I didn't hate it. I liked the subtlety. I liked the little sight gag. There's a lot of little details that I liked. It's just like,
just wait till you see all the rest of the show and you start to put the pieces together and you start to see some of the long-term jokes pay off. That's the problem with covering a show like this. Is it's like if we covered the first episode of Arrested Development, it's just not gonna.
Yeah, not gonna fly at all.
And so, like, you might give it a 7 out of 10, but you're missing so much context. And that's why I encourage everyone, just go watch this show. Ignore our ratings and just go watch it, because we cannot do it justice based on just one episode. We really and truly can't, as I'm sure Cap can attest to with how much I can talk about stuff that happens later in the show.
Right, fair enough. I'll tell you what, give me a couple months, get through this, and then I will give my revised rating at a later date when I'm done watching the whole thing.
All right, Ben, I'm going to remind you of it in 3 months. I expect it to be done by May.
Deal.
Well, you heard it here, folks. Our first revised episode will probably come out in May. Some
That's right.
probably.
Guarantee.
So, any closing thoughts on Raising Hope?
I'm like I said, I really like the characters. I feel like the character development was great, and I'm interested enough to see where everything goes.
I'm excited to watch you see where everything goes. I'm excited to talk to you about where everything goes. We just might have to do a whole ass revisit episode of Raising Hope, talking about the entire series. Raise the bar and Raising Hope, yes, and then
I was going for Raise the Roof, but
oh, that too. Well, once we do the revised episode on Raising Hope, I'm gonna make you watch My Name Is Earl.
see that
I promise it's as entertaining or more entertaining than the song.
Jason Lee's a scientist or a Scientologist, though.
So?
He's
So what?
He's a Scientologist.
You're saying that you wouldn't watch anything from fucking Will Smith?
I guess him and Willa, or whatever the fuck her name is, left the church.
Jade Pinkett Smith?
Yeah, Jade Pinkett, thank you. Yeah.
Okay, so, what about, say, Pulp Fiction? Are you never gonna watch Pulp Fiction again?
I've never actually seen it. It's too fucking long.
Saturday Night Fever, Michael, any fucking... any one of his movies?
John Travolta? No, I've never seen Saturday Night Fever or Grease.
Why?
Because...
Oh my god. Tom
Tom
Cruise. I know you've seen Tom Cruise movies.
I've only ever seen him in Tropic Thunder, and I didn't know he was in Tropic Thunder when I went to see it.
I don't know why you have this personal vendetta against any Scientologist ever, but I promise you, more actors than you realize are Scientologists, and you've definitely seen at least one of their movies, and it's stupid and arbitrary to not watch a show because it's got a Scientologist in it.
I'm just not a fan of Scientology. Like, we've
He's not a fan of Scientology, but A, Jason Lee didn't get any royalties from the show. He got his payment outright. He doesn't get any gross from me watching it. B, it's a fucking 10-year-old show.
Fine.
I'm about to make a fucking movie deal out of it. I'm just saying.
Only because he was also a pro skateboarder in the 80s and invented a bunch of tricks.
Oh, God. Whatever it takes you to watch it. I don't care. I don't care if you say it's because of Alvin and the Chipmunks. Just plus, it's got a bunch of other faces that you'll recognize that are also from Chris Garcia shows, which you'll recognize after you watch Raising Hope. That's actually going to be interesting. You will have seen Raising Hope after My Name is Earl, so you won't know these characters by their names as I know them, and you won't get the My Name is Earl references until you rewatch Raising Hope after seeing My Name is Earl.
That's going to be confusing.
Yeah, it's going to be confusing to you because you're going to see characters in Raising Hope that you're then going to see in My Name is Earl that are going to be recurring characters, not just cameos. And you're going to be like, hey, there's that guy from that one episode. And then you're going to realize that that's why they made the joke about the guy in Raising Hope.
Interesting.
We'll see. I feel like that's going to be fascinating to see. I can't wait to discuss that with you.
All right.
But all that's going to have to come in a later date.
Yeah, hey.
And I have no regrets.
Yep. No regrets.
Regrets.
Yeah, no regrets.
Now, I do believe we have a special announcement about next week's episodes.
Yeah, there's going to be a theme. It's going to be Matt Stone and Trey Parker centric.
And to those of you who don't know his name and are going to say dumb things in the comments like, oh, who's that? Or going to private message me dumb things being like, oh, who's that? They're the creators of South Park. Except they aren't just the creators of South Park. They have done several movies, of which we will be reviewing 2 of them.
Yep. Do we want to reveal the 2 movies we're going to be doing?
Ooh, I've been pondering that since the entire episode. Should we reveal them, or should we make them wait?
Because I feel like it's not going to be the 2 that people are expecting.
Oh, it's definitely not going to be the 2 that people are expecting. I can think about 3 to 5 movies that people would be expecting, and either of these or either of those 2. Let's say we just keep them waiting.
Yeah. Let's keep it a secret.
Because we're men.
We're manly men.
We're manly men.
Well, there's just one thing left to do.
Each other?
But besides that,
Oh, in that case, and I've been Connquest,
and I'm Cap.
and this Roll Credits. Good night, folks.
Doodle.